scouting that has been done that hasn't materialized, and there's some that's been over scouted and overhyped. So there's a lot of that is now starting to kind of peek itself out from underneath the covers a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so this is where we found ourselves. I mean, you got to think about it. Like, for example, the Boston Celtics and their team with the youth that they've had, you know, they've been to the conference finals and the finals with that young core, and pretty much the majority of them still together, which is amazing in itself. Now they find themselves back there in that position again, right? So there's a lot of lessons that they're going to learn. There's a lot of lessons that OKC is going to learn from that. And there's a lot of lessons that their staff and their management's going to be able to do as far as putting together a team that is going to be positioned in the Western Conference to do things and get things done and get over the hump there. We're starting to see, for example, where just think how quick stuff changes, Austin, right? Just think of how just a couple years ago now, just a few years ago now, that all the media pundits, news writers, and everybody was killing the Dallas Mavericks for the move that they made in getting Kyrie Irving. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. Oh, he can't. Oh, he's not a team guy. Oh, he's a cancer. Right? And they figured it out. And then they've added pieces with the understanding of what they're going to have to deal with, who they're going to have to go through, and what they're going to have to do in order to put themselves in a position to potentially win a championship. So you have a lot of teams starting to do this. Watch out now for a lot of pink slips that are about to go out in San Antonio because they're listen, they understand what they have is not enough. So that's where you have that situation. This is why I'm not going to be upset with individuals like Deion Sanders or coaches like that, even Matt Rule to an extent. Then this is why it's disappointing when you look at. I just went into a smaller deep dive about Dabo Swinney. Mm-hmm. It's just his reluctance, his pride or whatever, arrogance to decide to help his team with the midst in the midst of all the changes that are going on in college football. That's what you can, clap your hands and give his roses to Nick Saban, because mm-hmm. Nick Saban was actually one that he adjusted, he adapted, he made changes, and when his offense was set, being very defensive dominated with an offensive quarterback manager, he realized the game is changing. We're gonna have to change the way we do this. You go out and get Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen, not Jalen, but up in Philly, you get Jalen Hurts types. You go and get them now, and you change the whole landscape of the team. So that's where parity kind of it doesn't really show itself up initially. It takes a little bit of time, and I think you're starting to see it kind of come to fruition.
I think you can see it if you just look up and down the standings this year, especially, right? I mean, Boston ran away with the East. They finished 14 games ahead of the Knicks, but the Knicks finished 1 game ahead of the Bucks. Bucks finished 1 game ahead of the Cavs. Cavs finished 1 game ahead of all 3 of the Pacers, the Magic, and the 76ers. Those 3 teams finished 1 game ahead of the Heat. Those are your top 6 or top 8 seeds in the Eastern Conference. And then in the West, the Thunder and Nuggets tied at 57 wins apiece. Minnesota just 1 game back. And then a logjam 4-5-6. 1 game separated all those teams. The Lakers only 2 games back of the Suns. So I think if you look at it that way, Strick, I mean, both conferences were pretty deep this year. And I think that's going to continue, especially with the new tax rules, right? It's going to be so hard for teams to assemble these super mega teams and keep them together forever unless they draft well like Golden State did, right?
Yeah, no, it's going to be extremely difficult to keep these teams together now. You've got to come up with creative ways, but even more, you're going to have to build and you're going to have to do it similar to what OKC has done. You're going to have to really get into some career arcing and some details that go outside of just actually what you're seeing. You got to look at the potential. You've got to look at the work ethic. You've got to look at the heart. You've got to look. I mean, there's like these things that you don't normally look at. You normally just look at measurables and stuff like that. This is like, for example, right? Like, I actually think that probably LeBron James Jr., Bronny James, could possibly be an okay NBA player.
Mm-hmm.
My issue is, does he even want to play basketball? And this is one of the things I didn't do with my kids. I didn't, with my children. My son is 6'6", 260. Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a big boy. Like, I brought him down to the University of Nebraska. I walked him through this is when he was still in high school. He was playing football at the time, and but I could tell that he didn't want it. And but I brought him in there. I showed him what big time college football would look like. If you want it, I can help you. But I can tell that he didn't, he had other aspirations and dreams. The same thing with my other kids. I didn't ever force them into wanting to play the game. And I think that's where I question when I talk about looking at other things like heart, intangibles, will, desire, like ways to figure out, does a player have these types of things in them, right? Because just their skills alone, there's going to be a point in time where they can be surpassed or passed up, or there's an arc on that before it starts having a descending effect to it. But go ahead.
We got to go to break, hit the emergency alert. When we get back, we will wrap up this conversation. We'll start talking some college football, right? What's actually happening in NIL? Is a lot of this money being used for recruitment or retention? And could we be seeing the end of walk-on programs? What would that mean at Nebraska? He's Strick. I'm Austin. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Join us this Friday, May 24th for Old School, live from 4 to 6 p.m. for the brand new rooftop at Beer House at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. We're helping unveil their new 40 Torches beer in honor of the 40th year of the Cornhusker State Games. Don't miss it. Old School, this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Beer House.
Spring often marks the beginning of severe weather, which can lead to power outages. LES wants you to be prepared before the storm. Restock your emergency kit. Update your info with LES, and if you encounter an outage, report it at les.com/report.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Blecker and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations. Guess what?
What?
There's 5 Lincoln locations now. Oh my gosh. That's 25% more Lincoln locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and air park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hey, Husker Nation, Matt Davison here with 1890. It's an exciting time to be a Husker fan, and to keep that momentum going, we need your help. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics, and we're doing the same through name, image, and likeness. NIL is a unique opportunity for every Husker fan to have a direct impact on the success of our programs. Through 1890, 100% of your contribution goes to the student athletes. So go to 1890nebraska.com, choose your sport, become a member, and help the Huskers recruit and retain the best. Go Big Red.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're here on the block, Austin Norman and Erick Strickland, 2 to 4 weekdays, brought to you by Nebco. Nebco and Constructors, hiring for all positions with immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Join the crew today. You can be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908, nebcoinc.com or constructorslincoln.com to learn more. Stricky, you mentioned a couple things in that last segment that I want to jump off on here before we get into maybe a little NIL and college football discussion. You mentioned San Antonio, and Victor Wembanyama, obviously the headliner there. He became the youngest player ever named to an all-defensive team of any kind. He was named first team all-defense. Didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. That went to Rudy Gobert. But Strick, with the all-defensive team being released today, 4 centers make the first team. They did positionless voting for the all-defense team. So the first team is Wemby, Gobert, Bam Adebayo, alternating days, Anthony Davis, and Herb Jones. What do you make of 4 centers on the all-defensive first team this year?
Oh, okay. So you know how the game has shifted, right?
Mm-hmm.
The game has definitely shifted away from a center being, doing all of these guard-like things. Yes, that's good. So they figure there's got to be a way for us to be able to reward, because they're not going to win scoring titles in most cases. They're not going to win a lot of these accolades because the game has shifted to a very wing guard dominated game. So it's probably the best category that's suited for the centers of the day, because that's a lot of them are called to be those type of guys for their teams. And so, you're extremely blessed when you have a unicorn like Victor Wembanyama, who can pretty much do all of those things. An aging Anthony Davis. Bam Adebayo is probably mid-tier when you think about it. Joel Embiid doesn't really play he does play some D, but he's mostly very offensively skilled. So, I get it. Yeah, that's what they're called to do. They're just called to be big guys and handle things and make it tough in the paint. And Jared Allen's, I'm surprised he didn't make it. I thought he was a tremendous defender, but it is what it is at this point. I think just the change of the game has kind of helped the situation to be the way it is.
The second team was all guards and maybe one wing, depending on how you categorize Jaden McDaniels. So it's McDaniels, Alex Caruso, Drew Holiday, and Derek White, both from the Celtics. And then Jalen Suggs from the Orlando Magic. Man, Strick, the game has changed. I know that there's so many good defensive centers, like you're saying, that are, put in tough positions with just how, perimeter-oriented offense has become. But there will never be anything, as important as rim protection, right, in the NBA. So it's weird to see 4 centers on the first team all defense, and that's not the lineup that, you would construct to run out there if you need one stop necessarily. But I'm okay with giving big guys, that little carrot on the stick to continue incentivizing defense because of just how, guard-dominated offense has become.
You basically are saying the same thing I'm saying. So yeah, I agree with you. You're absolutely right. It's just one of those things. You got to find a way to like one of the things we used to do, right? We used to talk about how when we get out on the break and we see our big running and getting after it, we want to reward them. In essence, that's the maybe the premise that we're looking at here. Is if you find yourself running on a fast break on the wing and you see your big, if you're not one to the basket, you want to find a way to reward the big fella for getting up and down the court. You know what I mean? And this what it seems like on the reward side of things. This is what this is measuring up to be potentially for me, is just giving the bigs a platform and a space for them to shine because they're called on to do quite a bit for team success.
What if I told you, Strick, that Braden Podziemski and Bobby Portis received all defensive team votes?
I understand it. But it's what? Shaky. But I understand it. I mean, Portis is, he doesn't have great footwork, but I can understand what he is to that team. He's probably called on to do some defensive duties with guys that probably Brooke can't handle, and the guys like that. So I get it. Podziemski similar. He's basically being called to be Klay Thompson because Klay Thompson's not Klay Thompson anymore. He's Klay Thompson, but he's not the same one as to the value that he had to the team, not only his shooting, but his defensive prowess that he had as well.
Right. Let's turn the page here. We got another 10 minutes or so in this segment. Talk a little bit of NIL. Strick, we've had a lot of these conversations. I know we'll continue to have them because this is an issue that's not going away. It's not going to be ever perfectly solved. But you and I have talked a lot about, recruiting with NIL versus retaining with NIL. There's an article from The Athletic that talked to, a number of different people, a lot of people from collectives, some general managers, some agents, personnel people, even a student athlete or two. The very first question was about, do you spend more NIL money on recruiting, new players into your program, or do you spend more on retention? Number 1 said retention. Number 2, retention. Number 3, retention. Number 4, retention. Number 5, 50-50.
50.
Number 6, 50-50. Number 7, 50-50. Maybe slightly more toward retention. you're seeing a trend that as much as, these big name players or Jordan Addisons and whatnot, the Jaden Rashada stuff that broke today, we'll get into in a little bit. What these collective CEOs, what these, agents and staffers are saying is that the bulk of NIL money is going to retention, which I think is the way we want NIL to work, is it not?
Yeah. Again, it's going to take time. Mm-hmm. It's going to take time. It takes time for those things to trickle down into effect. Like, for example, this is what you're going to start having more of these situations. And I think this is what's going to turn the tide to then really a strong consideration for retention if you're a player, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'll give you a little bit depth behind it in a second, because one agent stated that the school that he was playing for, this particular individual was playing for, offered $350,000, and that was a retention play.
Mm-hmm.
He turned it down to play for $0. So there's two pieces to that. One, he just was absolutely turned off by the program at that point, the coaching staff, maybe the fit, maybe the style. And that goes back to what we talked about in basketball sometimes, and how in the early stages of recruiting, what happens in the early stages of recruiting, and this is why I've always stated that this is why I love Cerebro, and we just had Ryan Gerardo on for Cerebro Sports, is because a lot of coaches and staffs, they go out, they go to 7-on-7s, they go to gyms and sit there for hours. They talk to recruiting coordinators all over the country, and they go and watch the skill set of a young man. Never can really fully be duplicated in practice. Like we saw LeBron James Jr. shoot 10 for 10 solo dolo by himself, but then get on the court and can't hit a freaking barn, right?
Right.
So you have these dynamics that are working. The issue is when you do have that, you've got to figure out a way to minimize the mistakes. How do you minimize the mistakes? You want to be able to go and recruit individuals that are character, that are fit, that want to be there. And there's all these other things outside that if it's all about money, then you're not going to be able to keep them. It's no different, like I said before. If I'm going to date a woman and I wanted to date her, I like her, she's attracted to me, there's some things I really like about her. If I go into that leading with money, we're going to 5-star restaurants, we went on a trip to the Bahamas, and that's how we started. What am I going to have to do to keep her?
A 6-star restaurant and 2 trips to the Bahamas.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So you have that. If you come leading with that, or you're only accepting them because of that, then you're going to have a hard time retaining them. There's going to be things that come. So how do you want to get them on campus is by way of keeping them retention. They're going to know your system. They're going to understand your culture. Your investment should be highly into that as opposed to those coming in, because you're going to want to fill them out. You're going to want to know what their desires are. You're going to want to know those little intricacies about themselves, their heart, their determination, their will. You want to learn those things before you just drop paper on them. So that's what I think the issue is in the disconnect.
The very next paragraph, we're on the same article here. The very next paragraph, the general manager says, you have to know the kid you're dealing with. You absolutely do, right? To get to know these young men, young women, figure out what reasons they're there for. Here's the example that the general manager gave. He said, most kids don't want to leave their teammates, don't want to be a quitter, so there is some loyalty. Okay, that's one side of things. The other side is, then there are cases where some player with a 6th round draft grade will come, claim they're getting offered $1 million to go somewhere. Well, they should take it. Yeah, again, know who you are, know where the interest is coming from. And so much of that, Strick, I know these teams have to worry about themselves, but that's why I think the general manager position, these, team relation, athlete relation positions are only going to get more and more important in the day and age of exploding NIL money. because you have to know who's talking to your student athletes. You have to go through their recruiting list. You have to figure out who it is they know and who could be offering them, maybe more money, more of a role. And then you have to try to use that information to make your best offer to keep your player around in a lot of cases.
Facts. And this is why, like, for example, this is why I like, I'm not putting anybody down, but I'm just saying this. Like, this is why I think it's needed on some campuses in a broader scale. They're just touching on like you just said, they're just touching on, like, if you have an iceberg that you can see, they're just basically scratching the surface of the iceberg. The iceberg beneath you for a mile underneath is going to tear your boat apart if you try to go by it, right? You're only just touching the surface of what, is going on in this. And think of how, just hypothetical, right? Think about someone like me, if I was attached to the basketball program, and you've had Chucky, you've had Hunter, you've had Will Kyle the third, who we had on the show, Junior. You had all Frankie. You've had all these guys come through, and someone like me is having those discussions with them, because you can get real candid. Like, look, you're attached to the program, but you're also attached to the people. So there's a good interaction that can happen there that can help and relay these messages back. Because one of the CEOs said, he said this. He says, our recruiting reporters, find that. That's outside. Our recruiting reporters usually do a good job in letting us know that our guys are talking to other schools. That's a problem. That's a problem, because that's outside information that's getting thrown to you. That should be somebody inside that's touching those buttons, feeling that out. Where are you? What are you thinking? What are you not like? And having these discussions with these players. Even before they come, like, even before you really super pursue them in NIL or in recruitment. That's the type of things that I think. But see, guess what? Universities aren't going to want to pay for that.
Right.
They don't think it's, look, who does that? Sarah Heyman text line, tell me, in any business, I know we've got business owners on here. I'm one. I know there's business owners on here. Tell me by any way of your crazy mind, do you go and make an investment into a business, where to put it, what you're going to do with it, your cogs, all of these different things that are involved in business, that you're going to make this decision without any information?
Why would you do that?
Just surface information. A recruiting guy calling you and just saying, yo, man, you got to get down here. He's the one. He's Neo. He's the one. You got to get down here and see him. You know what I'm saying? No, who does? Nobody makes decisions like that. Not Fortune 500 companies. No businesses do. They take information. They take time. They go in and dig into, different details regarding where it's going to be before they make a decision, man. It's the craziest thing. Sports don't do that for some reason, but the good ones that do end up having good long-term success.
I was just say, those are the programs that we hear about, right? The ones that maybe paid a little bit of money up front, maybe it's a little bit of sticker shock, but in the course of 5, 10, 15 years, they're really actually saving money because they did their work ahead of time instead of always having to play catch up. I think that's going to be even more important, Strick, as we move into bigger and bigger dollar figures and who knows what's coming. It has always been true. It will continue to be true that innovation wins, right? Obviously, talent wins, but just as often, innovation, whether it is in, the player management, whether it's a scheme, a system, in nutrition and player development, whatever it is, if you're innovative, history shows that either you win or you set the table for someone else to take your idea and win with it when they get it just a little bit better. I think that's coming to NIL too.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of lessons that are going to be learned in this process. I I think the ones that understand the difficulty of trying to have individuals that have other important jobs within the program trying to do double duties, how stressful and how hard that is. You know what I mean? Like I understand you don't want to overload you're trying to manage budgets and you don't want to, but I'm telling you, people this is why you added a GM. You know that it's a need, but you're still a little bit behind because the GM by himself is not going to be able to do it. He's going to need, people to cover regions similar to a business. Now you've got to start looking at it from a business standpoint at this point.
Yeah.
You cover the Midwest, you cover the West, you cover the Northeast, you cover the Southeast. Oh, we're not really recruiting out of the Southeast. We just got touch points. So you cover the Northeast and the Southeast, because we really don't have a lot of, we're in the Midwest. Okay, we're going to need we're going to have the Rust Belt and we're going to have the Southern Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Like one guy's just going to handle that. One guy's going to handle this. So you can kind of pick where you need to put people so that you can get the success. And that's what their job is. They stay on the road. They go and hit. They go and meet. They go and greet. They go and watch. They go and observe. They're your eyes and ears in the whole process. And then also when season's going on, they're now back home. They've got certain player groups, one on the linemen, one on the receivers, one on the D-backs, or two on the D-backs and the linebacker. Whatever it is, I'm just throwing it out there, Austin. Tell me if I'm crazy, but I'm just throwing it out there. And then now they manage retention. So now you've got a whole group, and it's not the coaches. Let the coaches do what they do. Let them do their jobs. You know what I mean? If you want to siphon off a little money to pay for it, because they're not having to do that job. Okay, instead of paying them $500, pay them $400. Use the other $100 to pay some of these guys. I don't know, man. I'm just spitballing, but I know it needs to be done because if it doesn't, it's not going to be done right. Because you can see it on the interview, Austin. You can see some of the stuff that they're saying that there's problems that exist within.
You're absolutely right. There's a lot more to get into there. Let's go to break. We'll just have an abbreviated version of the shootout with Strick since he's remote. We'll just do the tiebreaker question, the over-under. We'll give you what texture you have to be. We'll give you the question here in just a second. We'll continue this NIL discussion and get into the conversation about what happens if the walk-on program goes away for college football. What would that look like, especially at a place that values it like Nebraska does? He's Strick. I'm Austin. This is On the Block. We'll be back in just a minute on 93.7 The Ticket. Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com. If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Hi, it's Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's truck month at Koppel, and we want to sell them all. Choose between 0.9% APR or as much as $8,000 off list price. Yes, you heard right. That's 0.9% APR or as much as $8,000 off list on select new GMC and Chevrolet inventory. So please make that money-saving drive to Koppel in Louisville or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about versatility today. Unlike flowers that wither and die or chocolates that disappear in a heartbeat, jewelry is the solid move here, guys. Yes, she will cherish it, but more important than anything, she will brag about it and brag about you. And that's what it's all about. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. Chance of showers and storms expected throughout the day. It'll be windy too, with an afternoon high around 77. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, with a low around 50. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies return with lighter winds and a high around 77. I'm meteorologist Kyle Buck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Old School with DP and J.
Very small percentage of players, coaches, administrators thinking like, I'm planting my flag here. Nick Saban's run probably won't happen. It takes a very unique person and personality to be comfortable where you are, be strong enough to push to get what you need, and then also be very strong enough in a player's standpoint to advocate for yourself at the right time.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage. Highball Bar features great events such as Karaoke Sunday, $4 Tito's on Mondays, Jack Daniel's specials on Wednesdays, and much more. Make Highball Bar your go-to spot after a hard day at work or on the weekend. Highball Bar, located at 122 North 11th Street in downtown Lincoln.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Erick Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
We are playing the game on the text line today with Stricky being remote. It's just going to be a little simpler that way. So, what we are going to do is just do it like we would any other tiebreaker. Or, of course, if Stricky the champ wins, we give the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings away this way. So, all right, Strick, are you ready for the question?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay. You know, I'm a big Kansas City Royals fan, and
Yes,
over
you are.
the weekend, these last few games, they've been honoring the 2014 Kansas City Royals team that made the run from the wild card game, probably the best baseball game ever played against the Oakland Athletics, all the way to the World Series Game 7, where they fell short. Of course, though, it's okay. We love a good redemption story. The Royals came back and won the World Series in 2015. But here's the question for you, Strick. How many earned runs did Wade Davis allow for the 2014 and 2015 Kansas City Royals?
Combined
over 2 years. He was the closer. Setup guy and then closer, I suppose. How many earned runs combined in 2014 and 2015?
Average
No.
earned runs.
Nope, just earned runs.
Total
earned runs.
Okay, see, you got to break it down. I would have told you like the average, like 1.76.
Well,
So,
did I say ERA?
Well,
or
don't
did
go there. I need more information. I'm trying to. I'm like the spelling bee kid that's like, give me the language of origin.
English. Can I use it in a sentence for you?
Oh man. Okay. Total for 2 years.
Total earned runs, 2014 and 2015.
Some games. Played
He is the
couple
closer.
Innings, couple of innings. Yeah. Oh, total 32.
Okay, Stricky says 32 runs over those 2 years. 402, 405. Now that's my own number. 402, 464. I can do this. 402, 464, 5685. Texter number, what number was Wade Davis with the Royals? He was number 17. Okay, texter number 17 with the right answer, over or under. We'll get the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. 402, 464, 5685. Over or under 32 earned runs over those 2 years. If you want $30 to our friends at Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll go to break.
Push. If you don't say push, you're gonna lose the money. You better say push. No,
we'll see. Push is also on the table. We'll
Push
go
is
to
on
break.
the
We'll
table.
keep talking NIL and walk-ons. We'll give you the answer. Let you know who won those $30 and gift certificates to Buffalo Wings and Rings after this. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket. NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker concrete, and Beatrice concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Join us this Friday, May 24th for Old School, live from 4 to 6 p.m. for the brand new rooftop at Beer House at 8th and Q in the Haymarket. We're helping unveil their new 40 Torches beer in honor of the 40th year of the Cornhusker State Games. Don't miss it. Old School, this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. at Beer House.
Drinking and driving causes serious harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. In 2021, 65 people were killed in Nebraska by a car crash involving a drunk driver. Do not drink and drive. By drinking less, you can still be here for your loved ones. If you or loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives. Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The Electrical Workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage. Highball Bar features great events such as Karaoke Sunday, $4 Cheetos on Mondays, Jack Daniel's specials on Wednesdays, and much more. Make Highball Bar your go-to spot after a hard day at work or on the weekend. Highball Bar, located at 122 North 11th Street in downtown Lincoln.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Facing the court is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we believe in treating every person with respect, compassion, and understanding. When legal troubles are keeping you up, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. To learn more, call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hour 2 of the show here on a Tuesday. Appreciate you guys and your involvement here during the show. Keep it going. We'll talk NIL, we'll talk walk-ons, and which college football coach is the most likely to get sued next after Billy Napier being sued by Jaden Rashada, part of a lawsuit. A lot going on at Florida right now. Before we get into anything else, though, we do have to answer the trivia question for the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. The question was, how many earned runs did Wade Davis allow for the 2014 and 2015 Kansas City Royals? Erick Strickland, how many runs did you say?
Did I say 32?
I believe you said 32. That's what I have written down. The answer is try half of that. 15 earned
Oh
runs
my
is all
God.
Wade Davis allowed over 140 games and 530 batters faced those 2 years. How about that?
That's solid. Yeah, that means he's picking them up and putting them down. The minute they step to the plate, that means you going bye-bye, baby. You're not doing much.
187 strikeouts to
Wow.
43 walks, only 3 home runs allowed, 71 hits compared to those 187 strikeouts. Wade Davis was on top of the world. Part of really the anchor and the linchpin of that Royals bullpen. So the winner is 99-24 on the text line. Come by the station again, $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We'll play again on Thursday, 2:45. So stay tuned for that. Strick, back to that article we were talking about with NIL, that same one. There's a couple more pieces in there that I think are worthwhile or are pertinent to get to here. Personnel staffer 1 is what this person's listed at here in the article. Said this: there are kids who will come to us and tell us that schools are reaching out and they might not be asking to get that same amount because they want to be here, but can we get closer? That, I think, is also, a fair conversation to have, right? If you're in the professional workforce and, in this case, it's other companies reaching out to you, not you reaching out to other companies, but they say, hey, here's a position for you. We'll offer you X amount more than you're making right now. I like that there are at least a group of student athletes that before they just commit to the money, before they commit to a school, probably sight unseen, that they're giving their, current school, a chance to match or a chance to at least make a good faith offer, right? Because I think this situation more likely than not happens for, a lot of mid-major schools or mid to low level Power 5 schools that maybe they made the decision they wanted to. They're at the school that they always dreamed of going to. They've played well, and maybe some schools coming in and offering more money. I like that there's at least, some sort of attitude and mindset from student athletes that's saying, hey, I understand the financial reality. I want to be here. I like this place. Can you at least show me you're making a good faith effort to keep up in this day and age, and I'll stay?
I'm going to push back a little bit.
Okay.
I'm still I'm not going to do you like Stephen A. Smith be doing your boy on First Take and all that. I'm not going to do you like that. I'm going to be respectful because I love Austin Orman, my partner, my man. That's my guy.
I love my guy.
Okay. Now here's the deal. I'm going to push back, and here's how I'm going to push back. It's a twofold answer for me. One, I believe professional sports have gone through this issue all in the onsets, ultimately until they got to a rookie scale. All of them have gone through it in some form or fashion. Even baseball to an extent, right? There's kind of a range now in baseball to where, you're getting drafted. You kind of have an idea of a range you're going to possibly fall in, right? And the battle to get to there is the part where I'm going to push back.
Okay.
Because it's always going to be some shady business involved. Meaning, am I really getting that? Or am I just throwing this out there to get you to just step up and raise the bar? The place that you figure out where to put guardrails or devices in place to keep you from getting the lies told, because what ended up happening? It ends up happening that there are tools, there are mechanisms out there now just to help you to understand the range of where somebody's level of marketability is, right? So that you don't overpay. This is what they have in the restricted area of sports now, where they call restricted free agency. Let's just talk NBA. Restricted free agency, where they basically are saying, okay, who's willing to pay what? We're negotiating, we talking, we're having retention, but I don't believe it. So I know where you want to be, but You ain't gave me what I see you every day. Now, somebody might want, but let's go see what's out there. That's when the restricted person goes out there, gets a offer sheet, and then they're able to give first right to refusal to the organization to then make that decision. Unless you put something in place similar to that, are they really telling the truth?
But how many
are you going to know?
You might not, but I think that's also important.
I don't believe all of them are real. They want the money. Like, I really do.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just what I was going to ask you, because I would hope that these schools and these collectives are doing their due diligence, right? I hope that they're not spooked by a number, and I hope they take at least a day or two to do their research and say, hey, we know someone in that general circle. Can we ask if they're hearing the same thing, right? Because my guess is, Strick, unless it's a student athlete with a really good agent or they're just kind of naturally cunning and savvy, I don't know how many college student athletes are going to be smart enough to come up with a fake number that sounds believable and just bring it and make it sound believable with the full story all the way through, right? Because I think the schools, I think the collectives would press them, would push back. When was first contact? How often have they contacted you? And I feel like the majority of these student athletes would crack under that pressure, right? It's life-changing money. They're just trying to get their hands on it. I don't know how many of them would have either the right circle to pull something off like that or the ability to pull it off themselves.
But that's the thing. Like, that's a great speculative, but I would say the same thing about kids. I never thought that kids would just be able to open up a freaking computer or one of these iPads and just go to work on it as if they've lived here before. I've got to do some study to figure out a couple of these things. Some of these kids just get in there and they start on the Photoshop and they doing. I'm like, wait a minute now, what's going on? How you learn? So in the same manner, conversations you have around kids, sometimes we don't think kids are as smart as they are, and they're actually pretty smart. A lot of people would have thought Stricky, was just a jock. And here I'm looking at collective bargaining agreements. This is 30 years ago now. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at collective bargaining agreements. I'm like, football looking kind of shaky. I'm good at football. It's my best sport, but I don't know if that collective bargaining agreement. How long do I really want to stay in this in the minor leagues? Go get basketball a shot. My baseball coach is saying, go give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, come back. Cool. That's you know what I'm saying? That these kids is out here negotiating. Now, don't I throw it out there and let you. Now, if I'm not producing, that's another story. If I'm up and coming, then you would have to consider it. But here's what professional teams started doing. They've got networks. It's called a voice genesis, where GMs talk to GMs, players talk to players, coaches talk to coaches. And sometimes coaches go up and have conversations then, and coaches go down and have conversations with players, and so forth and so on, right? Until the deal is ready to be done, GMs don't really talk to players until they've gone through age. So there's processes to it. But I'm saying, I still think, Austin, that until they get some roadblocks and there's going to be some shadiness in that process. Until I can call and say, hey, okay, I like it. I hear where you're at. Just give me another day. Let me do a little bit more research. Now I go and do comps on players. I go and do. I call down to USC. I got a player that kind of put up the same numbers as you, has somewhat same skill set. I know you're doing NIL with your boy down there. What have they been talking about for him? I'm not coming at him, but I just want to know what 1.2 million. Oh, okay, cool. He asked me for 890. Okay, cool. Thank you. Now you can go back and have a real discussion with that group, with that agent, with that player. And you can say, oh yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I like where you're at. We're willing to do that. Or say no and let him go back out on the marketplace and see if he can get it. Or she can get it. Either one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. And I think part of that too, there's another section in this article from The Athletic about what happens if student athletes leave. What happens if a player leaves the team they have an NIL contract? There's a lot of interesting stuff there. And maybe one way that...
Can I get some of that back? Can I get some ROI on that, Austin?
They're working
bro,
on it.
I paid you all that money. Now you don't want to get nothing back to me,
right? But that's why I think these collectives and these businesses are so careful about how the contracts are written, right? The one collective CEO, number 8, that's quoted here, said, "We've never had any problems legally or had anyone complain. Some might try to take advantage and transfer the day after a payment gets delivered, but we just try to stay on top of that stuff," right? And, in that case, let's say you do pay a student athlete, they transfer the very next day the payment hits. That's unfortunate, but also I think that would kind of reflect on the collective to some degree, right? Like, do your research, know what's going on in their lives, what could pop up, what kind of person are they, and make the best decision from there. Like, there are so many places in this article that it comes down to relationship. Do you know who it is you're giving the money to? One of the general managers said, some of the players who might have tried to press us, we phased them out of the program before they even got the chance to press us, right? All of it comes down to relationships, knowing not just, where the money's going, but especially who the money is going to. And I think that is going to save, a lot of headaches for these collectives and businesses when they're, trying to help these programs.
That's the fact. I think you got to be creative. I think you got to come up with creative means, creative ways. The relationships throughout the community have got to be built. You definitely, I would think you'd want to have somebody in the space similar to like DP. And look, I'm not saying in specific, but just somebody that's willing to be creative. Just think of what DP does for a lot of those young athletes. Like, those young athletes are able to come in, learn a skill in communication, probably even better than they would probably get. You were a communicator. Think about if you could have had this type of experience, like at this level, before you really jumped off into it. You're an athlete and you really had an aspiration to do this, Austin, but you had this type of experience with, the things that he's done with like Megan and the things he's done with like who else? Who's working with gosh darn, my mind just drew a blank. Is working with Rebecca. She does a lot of the computer stuff and the graphics.
Oh, Bella.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just really think about that, right? They're getting skills, resume, Chancellor Brewington and the guys like that, or even when Chief Borders was in there. Chief learned a lot. Like, he was able to edit and do a lot of stuff, and now we know he's gone. We need our ROI back off you, Chief.
Yeah, he needs to fix that chair before he officially leaves. Like, come on, man.
We need a little return on investment. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, though. You know what I mean? So I think they need creative. Just get creative. You want to get creative in the community. Ooh, that thing worked. CIC, creative in the community. You know what I mean? You want to be able to find organizations that you can, of interest, that you can figure out how to do creative things and helping these young men and women, because then it goes beyond the money. The money's like gravy. Then it's in the vein of what their interest is and what they like, what they're pursuing, what their goal is. And if you can get creative in those ways, man, especially in the community, you might have something there.
The creativity, I think, is a big part of it. And I'm curious to see, too. I mean, we're just, 3.5 years in, give or take, to the system. I'm curious to see how this continues to develop, just how creative our, collectives, our businesses, our student athletes going to get, because that's the place that I think there can be some really cool stuff done, so that those unique, legitimate skill building opportunities, the passion projects, right? Because that's what a lot of this is, right? Yes, it's name, image, and likeness, but if you can do something creative with it, it's going to, multiply, maybe not exponentially, but you can maybe double what it is you're making in money just out of the enjoyment of it, right? I mean, that's half the battle, right? Find what you're interested in and pursue it.
Yeah, and even if it's in government, get with the local governments. If it's in you want to be someday a GM, or you want to be athletic director, or you figure out ways to integrate them, use their talent. Like I remember when I was in school, man, I was what they called an ambassador. I had a job. That was my job. That was my summer job. I was an ambassador. So I would go out to all of the boosters and all these different companies. And I was able to sit in there with vice presidents, bankers, CEOs. I was able to meet with farmers in the community. I was able to do this and have conversations and get to, those type of things are valuable. Figure out ways to integrate the young men and the women into the system so that it can be mutually beneficial. I don't know.
Yeah, you're onto something. On the text line here, 4424 says NIL needs contract stipulations. Student athletes wouldn't be able to.
Whoa! Bring that back. I like the way that sounded. Need what?
Contract stipulations. Is that going in
Come
the
on.
dictionary?
Come on. Yeah, tell me what else. That's it?
Okay, student athletes. No, it said student athletes wouldn't be able to transfer after the first payment if they're under contract. If they want to get paid, they need to sign a contract. For example, if you sign for $2 million, you have to be there for at least 2 years.
Come on, somebody. That's what I'm talking about. There needs to be some. And what are you going to do for it? And if you don't meet these marks, the back end is loaded on the back. $2 million's available to you. Either $2 million plus bonus, if you over exceed, if you become this, if you become that, or so you can make up to 225 or 25. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't hit these marks, you don't get that back load. You got 2 years. You got 2 years to do it. But if you come up short, you're starting your first, you don't get the same up front as the first one, but you're going to get it on the back end. I need you to produce. You got to hit these numbers, or you got to hit this mark, or you got to do what you're doing on the NIL, or you got to do a little extra.
Right. My question would be, what's holding a student athlete from pulling a Ben Simmons, from pulling a James Harden, right? Sitting out until they get an offer they feel is fair, right? Because if that's going to be in the contract that you're here for this amount of years for this amount of money, like, yes, you signed the contract. It made sense at the time. My gut tells me just do it, right? But maybe you become a social media sensation between, year 1 and year 2 of a 3-year contract, and your value has legitimately gone up. I can understand why the team wouldn't want to up the offer. I can understand why you would want more. But if you're going to say you are stuck in this place for so long, Strick, we see holdouts in the NFL and the NBA all the time. We see players sit out until their contract, demands get met, or what else happens? They get traded. That's not something that is in college athletics right now. So that would be another piece of the puzzle I think we have to keep in mind before we say you are absolutely locked in here. Like, how are you going to deal with holdouts and, refusing to play unless they get more money? You can't deal with it the same in college as you can in pro sports right now.
Yeah, because you can't find them.
Right.
So you
can't find them, can't trade them. You're hostage.
Can't trade them. You're pretty much held up. But again, this is where the college, being that you're already under some form of a contract by way of a scholarship, you can integrate it in through there, because really you could extend it, because if I go to college, it's just basically a handshake agreement that I'm going to be here for the 4 years that you've recruited me. That's how it's been in the past. It's just kind of like a handshake agreement. But you can integrate that and put that into the contracts to say, okay, we're going to do this contract for 2 years. So after the second year, we can either renew, or we're going to do it for the 3 years at this NIL amount. You got to be here, baby. You don't want it? That's cool. You can go somewhere else. Or we can do a year with this NIL. If you don't produce to this number, then we can walk away. You can walk away and jump in the portal if you want to, if you don't fit. But if you do fit, we like you, you like us. We're going to, for the second year, if you hit these metrics, you hit these numbers, or you hit this success level of being, but what you don't want that to do, Austin, is you don't want that to create ball hogs. You don't want that to create system breakers. So in their mind, sometimes in a young man's mind, they're thinking that the coach is hindering them because they're killing their NIL. No, let's go back and look at the film. We want to be able to have those happen, but that's going to happen. And so there's so many nuances in this thing, Austin, that you got to kind of wade through, but it's going to take time. It's just like a new car. It's just like a new phone. They're going to have bugs in it, like a new computer. There's going to have things they're going to have to, they're in that phase. I think NIL and transfer portal is in that phase where they need to start finding guardrails, and they need to start finding, ways in order to be beneficial to all parties, and both parties right now is kind of one-sided possibly. They got to try to figure that out, and that's going to be the hard part of it all, especially with the changes of now the conferences and all the, the growth of football and where they're going. There's so many other things that are involved now that makes it difficult, but you're going to have to try.
Absolutely. 4424 follows up and says, I'm talking performance-based contracts, not popularity contracts. Student athletes would be able to generate their own deals, but if they sign an NIL deal with a college team, they need to be obligated to that original NIL contract with the school. Before you jump off, here are my couple things. First of all, I think you're talking about a presence-based contract, not a performance-based contract, right? You're talking about an employment contract more so than an NIL contract, right? Because NIL deals in a lot of cases are popularity, plain and simple, right? There's a reason that, people with big social media followings tend to earn more in NIL because those are popularity based. Performance-based contracts, that doesn't make any sense to me, because not even in the NBA or the NFL or MLB do you say, we're signing you to a 4-year, $30 million deal. You have to hit 275 with 20 home runs and 15 doubles and another 10 stolen bases, and you have to have a fielding percentage above 980. Otherwise, we terminate your contract. That's not how it works. What happens is you put up the stats that you put up, you enter free agency, and then you are rewarded a contract by a team based on the numbers you put up, as well as supply and demand, positional scarcity, team needs. So 4424, I would argue that what you're advocating for is a completely pro-style system in this case, right? Where you're on the market, you can sign your free agent contract with a team for X years, X hundreds of thousands, X millions of dollars, and then the endorsement deals on the side, right? Because NIL deals and what you're talking about, those are completely two separate categories in this financial realm.
Well, let me throw this out at you, Austin, because you're a big baseball. I see you got your KC on today, trying to represent your squad. All right. Let me throw this back at you. What is arbitration like in baseball?
Arbitration is the worst process. Players hate going through it. Teams hate going through it.
Right. It sucks, right? But it is something that kind of, it's a form of a guardrail for each party involved, right? Or no? Help me understand.
Yeah, to some degree. I mean, what it is that there's a player who's toward the end of their rookie deal. And what happens is the players camp comes up with a number and the team comes up with a number. They go to a judge, and the judge, says essentially who's right and who's wrong. So the team, really the team argues against their player. Even if they want to keep the player, it's essentially their job to argue against the player in these arbitration cases.
So in some form or fashion, would you say that the process needs to be, or there needs to be some form of a body, or does this need to be an internal thing with the university? Does something like that help in this transition of trying to find the right model? Does something like that help? Having an arbitration body?
I don't know. I mean, it might not hurt, but then it depends on who those judges or those, people on this panel, committee, whatever setup are. Because I think that in some places it would be very school friendly, where they'll always, try to give out maybe a little less. Maybe other places can be very player friendly and make the school maybe pay a little bit more. So my worry with that, and it's obviously going to be impossible to avoid, everyone has their opinions and inclinations on this feeling. You'd have to make it as neutral third party as possible, right? You can't have a biased panel if you're doing an arbitration system.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And again, we're just talking. I mean, we're just trying to figure out different ways in which this can help, because we know we came into this whole thing a few years ago now, talking about, Austin and I know we've addressed it. We've talked about the fact that this is the Wild Wild West. It felt like Kool Moe Dee, the Wild Wild West, the Wild Wild. It's buck wild out here. How can we figure out how to contain just the wildness of the boar? The boar is buck wild. He's tearing up yards and all kinds of stuff. You got to either shoot him or you got to figure out a way to put lions or something on the, or you got to figure out a way to kill it, because it's just crazy right now. It's crazy. And we don't have all the answers. We don't know the answers. Maybe you do. 402-464-5685 is where you can kind of chime in, tap in, put your thoughts in, because we really don't. I mean, it's really tough out here. I just think systems need to be created. Everybody hates system because it kind of takes out of a capitalistic manner. But then in the midst of it, people, bodies end up getting hurt. So you gotta have some kind of a scale. I mean, we're seeing all over across the country now, some systems are broken. Some legal systems are broken, where there's a lot of stretching going on out here in some legal systems. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to basically take something that happened and add some. There's a lot of that going on right now. So you're right. It's hard to figure out if an arbitration body is necessary. There will be bias. There's there's all types of stuff that's going to happen out there, and it's unfortunate, that we just live in that time frame.
It is. Let's shift the conversation a little bit
to real quick. We need to go back to the old school barter system. Remember, you used to just back in the day, man. You ever watch the old school movies and you used to just go up, you look across from the man, I got this. This is what I've got. You need this. Why don't we trade? Because you got something I need. You go spool. You spit in your hand and you shake and you make a deal. We've lost that, man. It's so much.
We didn't lose that. Nick and I did that yesterday on these very airwaves, Stricky.
Okay.
We opened up the card packs, right? You were sitting here on the second chair in the studio. Nick opened Bobby Witt. I opened Christopher Morel, and we traded just like that, man to man. We shook on it. Deal was made. So we haven't lost it. We just need more of it.
We need more of it.
How about that? Stricky, let's set up this next segment with this. You're Nebraska's best walk-on ever, right?
Probably. If you 402-464-56, if you can find a better walk-on than Stricky, help me to know it, because I'd love to meet him. I'd love to shake his hand too.
Give us your best walk-ons in Husker history, because why? It might be going away with the new rules in the settlement that could be coming down. We'll discuss that and more when we get back to On the Block.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out, because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out, with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Have you been accused of a crime? Is your freedom at stake? At Liberty Law Group, we are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Facing the court is stressful, overwhelming, and full of uncertainty. At Liberty Law Group, we believe in treating every person with respect, compassion, and understanding. When legal troubles are keeping you up, trust Liberty Law Group to fight your battles. To learn more, call 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Let's talk about versatility today. Unlike flowers that wither and die or chocolates that disappear in a heartbeat, jewelry is the solid move here, guys. Yes, she will cherish it, but more important than anything, she will brag about it and brag about you. And that's what it's all about. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
RC's Boxing Production is proud to present the new prospects at the Complex. Come enjoy a show of Lincoln's best professional and amateur boxers on Saturday, May 25th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the boxers and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com. You won't want to miss this event. It's the new prospects at the Complex on Saturday, May 25th at 1555 Yolanda Avenue, right off of Cornhusker Highway. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Hi, it's Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's truck month at Koppel, and we want to sell them all. Choose between 0.9% APR or as much as $8,000 off list price. Yes, you heard right. That's 0.9% APR or as much as $8,000 off list on select new GMC and Chevrolet inventory. So please make that money-saving drive to Koppel in Louisville or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
It's, hey, he looked as advertised. He looked really good in the spring game. And because of that, we're going back to a bowl game this year, is what Husker fans are telling them. So I think the fans have a more realistic perspective, and I think this coaching staff has done a really good job of handling Dylan Raiola and the expectations around him.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block, another 15 minutes or so with you before I turn it over to Jay Foreman and Old School. I'm Austin Norman, joined by, for my money, the best walk-on in Nebraska history, Erick Strickland, and that's where the conversation
Basketball, baby. Basketball.
Sure. We'll be fair. Maybe explain to people, Stricky, how was Stricky a walk-on? How did that work out?
Well, because I lost my amateur status, and in at that time, the amateur status was lost because of the professional side of my game. Now, I couldn't have like an agent, even still, for the baseball side of things. So at that point, my dad and Dave Schillinglaw, shout out to Dave Schillinglaw, really in all actuality, shout out to Dave Schillinglaw on a lot of part of the reason how I got here is I started with Dave Schillinglaw. You know, we had a little radio show back in the day. So once I then decided to play professionally in baseball, it eliminated my amateur status for the others. So I couldn't take a scholarship in football, or I couldn't take a scholarship in basketball. I would have to be, in essence, a walk-on. Now, was I a traditional walk-on? No, because the Marlins paid for my school. So even though I was a walk-on, I wasn't necessarily a walk-on because, you know, well, in essence, I paid for my school myself, basically, because part of the money was built into the contract. And instead of paying me a full bonus, they basically said, we'll pay for your school and we'll give you a bonus. So I got both. And in all actuality, to get a full scholarship and the bonus at where I was drafted, that was pretty good. You know, it was actually pretty good. It was weird though, man. A lot of people don't know it, but the Yankees actually wanted to take me in the first round. Could you believe that I would have been a Yankee?
Whoa. Okay, Stricky.
The Yankees reached out to my, Dave and my people, and they were like, listen, we want to take him in the first round, but we want him to just play baseball, like, no basketball. And the Marlins said, we'll raise you and we'll let you play basketball. You can just come to short season for baseball, and you can do both, but we'll take you in the middle rounds. I said, cool. That sounded like a better deal to me.
It could have been the next Dave Justice, though, Stricky.
Man, listen, that you got to think about what I was looking up at. I'm looking up there saying, he might be there for a little while. Do I want to be in the minors for 6, 7, 8 years? No, sir. No, not them prime bearing ages. No, I want to be able to make some paperwork.
Understandable. So that's Stricky's walk-on story. Some of the favorite walk-ons that you guys threw out there. Jared Tomich from 44-24. Dalton says Alex Henry or Andy Janovich.
That's a big one.
Allard says Alex Henry, I Am Hip, or Spencer Long.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good ones, especially Jared Tomich. Like JT, man. Like, yeah, he was that guy. Like he was on par with Weststrom and all them. Like he was him. Like Trev Alberts type. Jared Tomich was like that. And Alex Henry. Like, just imagine that you really just didn't want to play. You come in and you become one of the best at the craft. You know what I'm saying? And end up having a freaking NFL career out of it. That's crazy. But he was a multi-sport guy too.
In high school, yeah. Soccer, and then obviously plays kicker in football. The reason this came up, Strick, was an article that you shared about, the potential of college football walk-ons going away. The biggest reason for this would be there's a proposal on the table to limit college football rosters to either 85 or 95 student athletes. That's a huge difference from the, 110, 115, 120 that a lot of these rosters sit at now. The reason it wouldn't necessarily, completely destroy the walk-on program is because you're not obligated to offer all 85 scholarships. If some school wanted to just give out, 65 scholarships, then sure, they could have, 20 or 30 walk-on spots, but that would be handicapping yourself for no reason and putting yourself at such a competitive disadvantage, just to save a little bit of money. So essentially, Strick, the most likely outcome is if college football roster sizes are reduced, that means the walk-on programs are essentially as good as dead.
So I want to throw this back at you, because the question to me and to you guys that are listening, we appreciate you guys continuously for your content in this discussion. So here's the thing. My question would be to you is why? Why would this be something that they're even considering at this point, right? To me, part of the answer, and part of the answer to the question could probably be within this part of it, that there's a potential looming settlement agreement of antitrust lawsuits that is looming to the tune of $2.9 billion in back damages to former players.
Million?
2.5 billion with a B. So in the mind, like, I can appreciate that a lot of these entities are starting to get in forward thinking a little bit of the possibility of so you've got to figure, where can we save money? Because regardless of walk on or not, or whatever the case, there's money, because you got their food, they're maybe not playing for room and board and all that stuff in books, but they're still part of the program. It could be travel, it could be all kinds of stuff. There's other things that monies go to for having them a part of the program also, right? Possibly. So they might be trying to figure out where they can save a little bit of money to put this in place. So the question is why? Go ahead. What you think?
I think that it has to be a cost-saving measure in a lot of places. But by that same token, later on in this article from Yahoo Sports that you found, they would also, give schools the opportunity to, offer only full scholarships, right? So like baseball, for example, limited to the 11.7 scholarships. If an ACC or SEC school wanted to give out full baseball scholarships, they could. They wouldn't be limited. So I think more than anything, the money is always going to be there. The money is always going to get spent, but maybe it's, limited to scholarships. Maybe it's used to expand scholarships, but the money's always going to be there. Just how it gets doled out is going to be different. I think that to some degree, Strick, the why too is roster bloat, right? I know that college football coaches love having, as many players as they can around to, have for practice, have fresh bodies, keep their top level guys, as fresh as can be. But also to, maybe get lucky, come up on,
find a diamond in the rough. Yeah.
Diamond in the rough. Exactly. Yeah. And I don't want this to come across as you're being, if people are telling me, oh, you're being tough. Why don't you want more opportunities for student athletes? Like obviously more opportunity is better, but within reason, within limit, right? I mean, these rosters are huge. I'm not shocked that, say, Deion Sanders didn't know all of his players' names, with just how many are coming in and going out and just how many players are on a football roster. I get it's been part of the job description, but man, like 120 players on a football roster and you can only play 70 in a game. The math just ain't math in there, Strick. So I think this is maybe even just a little bit of common sense in reducing roster size.
Great point. I just throwing a question out because it just, I just kind of try to do big picture thinking sometimes and trying to figure out the why behind some of the moves. And it's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot. To me, though, what it would do, I think it would make a lot of those, what you're finding is, especially in basketball, but I even think in football to an extent, you're finding some nice little diamonds. I mean, Samari Toure types and, guys that go up to Montana or Montana State or North Dakota State. They get on some pounds and they develop and their skills get better and, their footwork and handwork, because I think those coaches at those levels understand that they have to coach their guys up to a higher extent. It's unfortunate because the top tier programs end up benefiting and they get lazy in an extent and they don't have to do as much, because guess what? If you don't do your work or you're not in point, it's very similar to what it was like for me in basketball. You come in, you have a short window, you've got to impress, prove, and get the job done. Otherwise, you'll be on the first thing smoking with that pink slip. You see what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate that top tier teams really don't have to deal with that, because guess what? You lose a quarterback today, you can go get one tomorrow, because everybody's going to want to be in your program. Plus NIL is going to probably become more available to you. So top tier programs are really the beneficial. It's not a trickle down, it's a trickle up, but I think it'll make those programs better on the onset. And I think it'll make those leagues better, but because those players are going to have to go somewhere and they're going to have to perform and develop and get better. But it's going to be a little cycle that's going to come out of it, I think.
I think you're right on that, too. Stricky's right a lot. Listen to him, people. I keep telling you. Jay Foreman in the building. Let's go to break. Let's cross over with Old School to wrap up on the block here in just a sec.
Spring in Nebraska brings green grass and warmer weather, but it also brings severe storms which can cause damage to your home. Meadowlark Exterior specializes in hail, storm, and wind damage restoration, as well as roofing, siding, and gutters for commercial or residential buildings. Meadowlark Exteriors focuses on fine craftsmanship and proves that in their attention to detail. They offer free roof inspections and estimates and insurance claim assistance, serving the Lincoln and Omaha surrounding areas. Call today at 402-875-2956 or go to meadowlarkexteriors.com.
Keep summer green with Judson Bylene and Judson Irrigation. More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install them and forget them outfit, long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing.
And electrical.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through May 21st is the revealing of the Mystery Box promotion, a $225 value for only $99. That includes 3 8-ounce fillets, 2 4-ounce fillets, 4 New York strips, and 4 8-ounce sirloins. Also, 15% off all spices. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. Chance of showers and storms expected throughout the day. It'll be windy too, with an afternoon high around 77. Tonight, partly cloudy and breezy, low around 50. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies return with lighter winds and a high around 77. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Summertime is here. Now through May 26th, enjoy USDA Choice Whole Beef Brisket for $3.99 per pound, all natural bone-in pork shoulder for $1.88 per pound, 8-ounce USDA Choice New York strip steaks for $6.99 each, and Frito-Lay party-sized chips for $3.88 as a congrats to all 2024 graduates. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time here on 93.7 The Ticket, as well as theticketfm.com. Austin Orman, Erick Strickland, Jay Foreman in the building now. Jay, welcome in.
What up? I blew in on this windy Tuesday.
Say, look what the wind blew into the 93.7 The Ticket studios. Right. It's Jay Foreman. Jay, we were just talking about what could be happening with the elimination of walk-on programs, potentially, right, in college sports, because they're looking to reduce roster size. My argument is maybe they've gotten a little bloated, right? 120 seems like a lot. Is it necessary? Like, do there need to be that many bodies in the college football program? Could they get away with closer to 100? Is 85 to 95 too few? Where do you fall with that?
I think there's always a happy medium between the maximum and where it's at right now. I think if it's just say the most is 120. I know there's some rosters a little bit higher, so just say it's at 120 and 85 is a scholarship number. I think you can get over a little bit over 100. I think you should be able to have a range, we say between 105 100 105. I think walk-on program for me is especially at Nebraska, at one point in time it was a lifeline, not a lifeline, but a big part of the program. You had some great players that came through here that were walk-ons. Great players that helped win us national championships, won a lot of games. Great players that were walk-ons that ended up playing a long time in the NFL. I think you miss out on some guys, but I think if it's all contingent, which it seems like it's coming right down the pipe of most athletes or every athlete being on scholarship. So they become employees. You got to trim the fat a little bit. So, I understand it, and, you want to make roster size is going to be huge. I do think they shouldn't eliminate it fully, but making sure maybe, a little bit of reduction. But I hate saying it because, I think about a Joel Makovic. I think about a, Verza or Matt Verzal. I think of a Brian Shaw. I think of all the different guys that came in and earned their way, beat some guys out for scholarships. And, in Joel Makovic's place, he's probably, or in his position, the way he played, he might be the best running fullback in Nebraska all time. Played, numerous years in the league. We came in together. We used to battle. So, I'm probably a little bit biased that way. But I think, across the nation, there's a lot of great walk-on players that will come in and develop maybe a little bit later. And
Turkey was the walk-on. He didn't develop later.
That's because he got drafted in baseball.
I'm just saying he's the walk-on.
Technically, yeah. Technically, I think there's basketball players that could walk on and end up being, productive players.
That Bolus kid that they just got as the PWO.
He has a ton of upside. I know him personally. I think he's going to be a surprise. I think he's a guy that, as the season goes on, he's going to get better. And then if he gets then as he continues on in his career, you're going to be like, man, if we didn't give him a chance and he's came up the hard way and earned everything he's gotten so far, you wish you had guys like that in your program.
It's going to be interesting to monitor too, because it's not like walk-on programs are officially dead. But
not yet.
Because the other important part to mention is that schools aren't obligated to offer all 85 scholarships, right? So if they wanted to give out 65, they could and leave 20 walk-on spots. But that just seems like unnecessarily handicapping yourself.
I think there's a way to kind of dance around the rules. I think the better way to go about it is just maybe capping the roster size. This is the most you can have on your roster, right? And then go from there. And then obviously you got 85 scholarships, and if it's 100, then you know what? You better make you better make those the best walk-ons that can be, because if you're coming here as a walk-on, you're not far away from earning a scholarship. Because there's gonna be walk-ons that beat out guys that are on scholarship. There's guys that play basketball, or maybe from a small town that don't have access to the things that, say, like for me, from being a big city, they get in the weight program, they're good athletes, maybe they had a little bit of an injury history, boom, they're off and running. So maybe roster size is better. I think just focusing on walk-ons is like targeting them a little bit. There's a lot of walk-ons probably, across the nation better than guys on scholarship. So, and that's always one of the greatest, I guess, reels or whatever that you call them. I don't know what they call on social media when they award somebody at the end of a season that he's finally going on scholarship, or before the season he gets to go on scholarship. That's a big deal, man. It's $40,000 probably go to Nebraska, maybe even more. Right?
Mid-20s.
Mid-20s.
Room and board, tuition, all that.
It's only mid-20s?
Yeah. Nebraska's pretty affordable, all things considered.
That's
at least last time I was there.
When was that?
I graduated in 2020.
Yeah, a long time ago. Inflation is 11%.
Fair enough.
Probably $30,000. And I know you can get NIL and help that way, so your walk-ons are taken care of, especially if they're preferred walk-ons. But I mean,
average cost before age is $27,000 in Nebraska.
See, there you go. Harvard of the Midwest.
I said mid-20s. You said 30. I think we're
right in between. We're always
so
compromising. So I just think I think you can find a way to have both, and and reduce the roster size.
Let me, Strick, I want your thoughts on this too. The NFL has the 52, 53 man rosters. 53 now, and the practice squad. Would it be simple as college saying, "Hey, here's a 20-player practice squad"? Would that work? Do you guys think?
A 20-player practice squad?
Yeah.
You mean adding to it?
Hold on. What is this dude doing up here?
I'm done chilling, my boy. Who you talking? You talking to me?
Yes, I'm looking at you on the screen. I'm just fully embracing you with this cigar.
Just just a little something, just to try. It's windy outside, it's rainy outside, so let me just
Dallas Mavericks make the Western Conference Finals, and you just get brand new, huh?
I might try to catch a game. You never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know. If you see me on the screen, just know you caught something that you never know you caught. You just happen to catch it.
What are we gonna do about it?
I don't know, man.
It's tricky. 20-player practice squads in college football. Good idea, bad idea.
Jay would know more than me, but I'm not mad at a practice squad. I think if you're going to have them on there, maybe make it beneficial to them to having a walk on, maybe a little small stipend or something like that. I don't know. Is that something that would work, Jay? You think that would be beneficial to?
Well, I think it'd help with development. I think it would help with development of like your younger guys, your freshmen. So you'd have to go back before we came into college district where they did have freshman teams. That's a way to probably a really good compromise. And also I think you could build your roster as far as development a lot faster. I think the biggest thing that college coaches can do is make sure that every day that no matter what the sport is, that every day they are honing those skills. And so whether you're a walk-on or a young player, and it may be a player that's trying to come back from a injury, there's no better way to, kind of like, you send them down to the G League and you'll be there for a couple games, or minor leagues, you see a AAA, you need a couple games in and stuff like that. It's a good way to do it. But then also for the walk-ons, it's a good way to develop them, give them a realistic chance to get up to the active roster or on the scholarship count. And, if you do a good job of scouting every kid or, offering the ones that are close to being scholarship guys, you can find some diamonds in the rough. Sometimes you only have an allotment, say for 9 linebackers or whatever, have be, it's roster management, just like the NFL. And you have to make it, you got to make a decision, but then you got a kid that's on, walk on, and you're bringing them up the pipe. You're almost getting 2 scholarships in one. You got the kid that you're gotten developing, and then what you're going to get on the back end because you were able to have your hands on them for a full season, see them get better under your tutelage.
You know what I would think I would like to see real quick before I let you go, Austin, is I would like to see, even if you're walk on, maybe put them on some form of a scholarship, not scholarship, but on some form of a, like if you have a preferred walk on or something, right? Something to the form of this is a 2-year contract. If by second year you're able to make the actual roster, you get an NIL deal of 20,000 or 15. Give them some form of motivation in the workout process. That a small little stipend to start. Boom. That means they're going to get in there. They're going to get in there and they're going to train. This is where I think you can help yourself with retention. You know what I mean? Because one of the issues that they're having is retention issues. But you could possibly have a scholarship pool with potential retention of players by maybe giving them a 2-year contract. If you happen to raise your bar and standard, there's a benefit to you with an NIL deal. I don't know.
I like that, Strick. I like that, man. That's very thoughtful of you. You look very thoughtful on the stream with your cigar.
It's a thinking
Thank you, man.
Cool.
Thank you, man. Yeah, sometimes at the comfort of the home, man, you get your mind's able to start working, start cycling, making things happen.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like that, Strick.
What's coming up on Old School, Jay?
We're going to talk about my man Shada, the quarterback, being the first one to sue a collective, but then also we're going to talk about NBA playoffs, Ant-Man, what it means for Timberwolves, possibly in the NBA, and how much pressure is on the Celtics. Talk about a little NFL news, some underground talk of possibly that 18 games coming very quickly. and when I'm talking, we just got 17 last year. We might get 18 as an announcement before training camp opens up. So we're going to talk about that, what that means, player safety, and would you want it, and what type of contracts could guys demand with that extra game. Even numbers are always better than odds, and we'll see what they do.
There you go. That'll be Old School with me and Jay Foreman. Stricky, we see you down here mañana.
Stricky be in the building. As long as ain't no doggone storms looming trying to keep me from not getting on the road. But I think it would be a clear tomorrow. Normally the schizophrenic weather of Nebraska will probably provide sunshine tomorrow.
Rain, go away. That's what all Strick's haters say. That'll be on the block. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 to 4. Old School, Jay Foreman, next.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Summertime is here, now through May 26th. Enjoy USDA Choice Whole Beef Brisket for $3.99 per pound, all-natural bone-in pork shoulder for $1.88 per pound, 8-ounce USDA Choice New York strip steaks for $6.99 each, and Frito-Lay party-sized chips for $3.88 as a congrats to all 2024 graduates. That's all at Fairway Meat Market. in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Hi, it's Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's Truck Month at Koppel, and we want to sell them all. Choose between 0.9% APR or as much as $8,000 off list price. Yes, you heard right. That's 0.9% APR or as much as $8,000 off list on select new GMC and Chevrolet inventory. So please make that money-saving drive to Koppel in Louisville or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All of the